Hello, very dear Aquarians. I've got a kind of a funny song for you today. And it is the Bare Necessities from the Jungle Book. So, of course, the first part is very obvious. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, old Mother Nature's recipes that brings the bare necessities of life. So I'm looking at that and I'm going, well, that could mean a whole bunch of things, but the general feel of that for me is Aquarius, whatever you're looking at in life, whatever you're working with at this stage in your evolution, whether it's for the week of July 28th or whether it's whenever you hear this, I'm going back to old Mother Nature's recipes, and that brings the bare necessities of life. So for me, it's getting back into, for me, Mother Nature, that's the sacred. That is the sacred feminine, but the sacred feminine in terms of the nature that the feminine energy takes in all of its faces. The destroyer, the nurturer, Mother Nature, I think, is a perfect representation of that because it's really talking about the cycles of life, of birth and death and rebirth. And I think that's a really important part of what we're looking at here because you get the loss or liberation card. And that says to me that as you're doing this work, as you're moving towards a greater expression of yourself in your life, a greater expression of what's relevant to you, what makes you feel expansive, what connects you to that deep sacred place in yourself. It's really about understanding that there are aspects to you that you probably haven't discovered yet, that there are things you will leave behind in order to be your own hero. And that there being your own hero, very much, if we really break it down in terms of the energy I'm feeling here, it's you standing for who you are. It's you deciding, as we've talked about before, that it's time for you to really be you for you. And that within the beauty of the whole Mother Nature aspect of things, it's really truly that life does have cycles, relationships have cycles, that we are meant to live in cycles, whether it's something we associate with seasons, whether we look at it in terms of the elements of energy. And it's one of the things that I appreciate about studying Ayurvedic medicine, and just the whole science of Ayurveda, which is actually translated to the science of life, is that it really talks about honoring what the cycles are and being able to be aware of them, being able to know where you're at, what elements are affecting you, and be able to self-correct. Now, I want to actually mention something else here, because this is something that you are doing already. This is something you're learning to do more and more because you are paying more attention to your feelings. You're more in touch with what you want. You're more in touch with what makes you happy. You're more in touch with when you're giving and I'm going to say performing, but I would say performing your duties, whatever they are. You're more in touch with when it is about you doing it for something external to you rather than because it's truly what you want. You're more and more aware of that. And you're finding your way into whole new ways of experiencing yourself and applying yourself to things so that you can be living in an expanded state of who you are, so that you can be living in an adventurous state, an explorative state with a sense of delight, with a sense of curiosity, and with a sense of guilt-free. And this is super important. Now, I read through the lyrics because I don't remember that cartoon. But one of the things that as I was reading, I went, oh, that's why one of the reasons why this is important, I'm going to just say the phrases, and please stick with me on this. Now, when you pick a pawpaw, which is a fruit, or a prickly pear, and you prick a raw paw, well, next time beware. Don't pick the prickly pear by the paw. When you pick a pear, try to use the claw. But you don't need to use the claw when you pick a pear of the big pawpaw. Have I given you a clue? The bare necessities of life will come to you. So for me, it's like, okay, I said it because now I can clarify it more easily. What you're being guided to do is, if you pick this kind of thing, use your claw. If you pick that kind of thing, you can just use your paw. You don't need the claw. If you prick yourself here, learn from it and don't do it next time. Right? So I feel as though, again, this is guidance for you. You're being told that you are being guided, and that by following the cycles, thank you, I didn't know that. By following the cycles, by following rhythms that are natural to you, that feel good, because you can be in touch with your feelings now, you're going to know how to pick the pear. You're going to know which to pick. You're going to know how to pick it. And you're going to know how to do it in a way where chances are you're not going to hurt yourself as you're choosing, right? But you do get the structured free flow card. And I think that goes along very much with the idea of cycles, because cycles have rhythms. Cycles have boundaries within their rhythms. Elements, ether, air, fire, water, earth, they have a rhythm. They have a pattern. They have feeling. They have emotions associated with them. They have a whole dictionary of different things that you can understand and you can feel based on those elements and how they are represented in the cycles of nature, including your physical cycle, your daily cycle, your weekly, your monthly, your yearly, and so on. And as you know, in astrology, there are all these different cycles according to the planets. So what you're being told here is, please pay attention, Aquarius, to what Mother Nature is offering you. Pay attention and get in touch with what your cycles are. If you're feeling out of sorts physically, pay attention to where you're not following what is the natural or the best cycle for you. How are you eating? How are you sleeping? Are you playing? Are you breathing enough? Are you getting enough fresh air? Have you been out of the house? Have you been getting movement in your body? Have you been paying attention to the fact that it's a hot season and you have not been protecting yourself against the heat? Or conversely, have you been letting yourself get cold and chilled? These are all different ways the elements can affect you and throw you out of balance and throw you out of what is a good cycle for you. Okay? Now, what you're being encouraged to do is to pay attention to that and to really be mindful of setting things in place for yourselves so that you can have a general routine, a general sense of what, I'm going to go back to the cycles again, a general idea of what the cycle is meant to be, and now what can you do to honor that cycle so that you can engage in it in a way that supports you in your well-being and in your flow of energy. We want, and I'm getting this sense now very much, it's super important for you, Aquarius, to be really paying attention to getting the rest that you need, because you are going to be channeling a higher energy. And as you channel the higher energy, you need to rest. You need to resource yourself. You need to recuperate, because it takes energy to process and get into a higher frequency. Now, what you're also being told, there's something else here, and I haven't quite got it yet. Yes, okay. Whew. Take breaths. Your breath is super, super important for you right now. And it's very important that you allow yourself to slow down. As you slow down, tranquility, allowing yourself to get into tranquil moments will help keep you out of overwhelm. And it also, tranquility lends itself to wisdom, right? And this is something that you have the capacity to be channeling wisdom at a very high frequency. And this is where your guides and your angels are going to take you when you're ready to go there, if you're ready to go there. Regardless of whether or not you're going to be directly channeling wisdom for other people to hear or expressed in other works of art or creation or education, you yourself are going to be tuning into literally like another channel. It feels like you're going from 110 to 220 volts. And you're being reminded, please, that this is where it's super important for you to get water, for you to be hydrated, for you to pay attention to the amount of breath and how you breathe, and to notice where you're getting stuck and use your breath to isolate in your body where you need to move more, where you need to be able to get some kind of physical movement, visualization, whatever is relevant for you and your body. I can't give you specific instructions, but what you're looking for is your breath, and using your breath is going to help you be able to figure out where in your body there is energy stuck and what you might feel inclined to do in order to move that. So I know, for example, for myself, when I start doing my breathing exercises in the morning, if I notice that I'm having a difficult time opening the lower part of my lungs, I will specifically focus more on certain Qigong moves that will access that part of the body. And if I don't do that, I will really focus mentally on that part of my body while I am breathing, noticing where the edge of that breath hits. Because when you breathe with the awareness of a certain part of your body, the energy from that breath, the circulation goes into that area. It automatically moves there. And that's where the energy and the oxygen and everything that you need in order to be able to start getting that part of the body awake and energized and irrigated and stimulated, that can happen. All right. So again, you can use your breath as a way to notice where, and then your attention is going to automatically draw blood flow and energy flow into that area. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to tell them right now? Just very much, very, very much, I have to say, very much a feeling of take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves physically. Take care of yourselves mentally. Pay attention to the elements, the ether, space, fire, your solar plexus, your digestion, air, your circulatory system, your breath, earth, your elimination system, your colon, your knees, colon, neck, your sense of stability, your ego structure, and water, your immune system, your connective tissue, your attachment and detachment, your unconscious, and all things that may come up. Pay attention to how these elements are playing through you and with you. And Aquarius, that is going to be something that for you, it's good for everybody, but what I'm getting now is that for you right now, by being able to pay attention to those specific things and to really look at how the elements are working through your body and through your life, it's going to give you a real power to be able to make changes and to yes, and to really move through whatever emotions you need to move through in order to do this. And also the other thing about that is, as you start working with the elements directly, deliberately, you tend to notice yourself in a way that is more compassionate, because you're more in touch with what your body is experiencing in relation to your emotions and in relation to your world. It can be an extremely unifying experience. to start being able to really notice those elements with yourself. I did not know I was going to be talking about the elements tonight when I started reading Bare Necessities of Life. But there you have it, Aquarius. I think I'm going to leave you with that. And again, before you do anything, always make sure it's in your best interest. It's not causing you pain. And it's always up to you to decide how you want to proceed with anything. Okay? Take care, my lovely, lovely Aquarius.